Right, we're live.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'll call to order the regularly scheduled virtual meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. Today is Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, and it is 7:08 p.m. Board members present tonight are Vice Chairman Lawrence Harris, Dick Peterson, Kia Baskerville, and my name is Jimmy Praley. Also present tonight are City Attorney Michael Lyles and Deputy City Clerk Cynthia Gaines. As the board had the opportunity to review the minutes of June 2nd, 2017, if so, any additions, corrections, or modifications?
I move they be accepted.
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes will stand as approved. Before we begin our regular business tonight, I'd state for the record that since this is a virtual hearing, anybody wishing to participate may submit public testimony by way of written testimony to be submitted to the board as part of the official record. Anyone wishing to submit written testimony may do so by going to www.annapolis.gov/ABC. And on tonight's agenda, there's several items which we're going to combine. We're going to combine items number 6, 8, 10, 15, and 17, which deal with extensions of licensed premises for the First Sunday Arts Festival. We're also going to combine items 7, 9, 11, 16, and 18, which deal with extensions of licensed premises for Dinner Under the Stars. With that, we will declare the public hearing open tonight. And the first matter is an application for a new alcoholic beverage license for El Charmin LLC, trading as Pit Boys. We have an application for a new alcoholic beverage license, Class B2, beer, wine, and liquor with meals only, 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, 7 days per week with a special Sunday license by David George for the premises known as El Charmin LLC, trading as Pit Boys, located at 1515 Forest Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. Do we have anybody here from Pit Boys?
Claire just joined you now, so someone's coming forward now from the place.
Great. Thanks, Claire. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I was under the impression, wasn't that the one that was delayed till August?
No, I believe that was. I think we do have Mr. George here. I think that was another one that was postponed
Oh, okay.
to August. Dick.
My fault.
No, it's all right. It's all right. All right. Hi. Can you? Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. And who do we have here for Pit Boys?
Oh, David George.
It says Jamie George. That's our daughter's computer.
Okay. And your name, ma'am?
Marla George.
Okay. Anybody who's planning on testifying tonight, if you could raise your right hand so I could administer the oath. Mr. and Miss George, if you guys could raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And full names and addresses for the record, please.
Marla K. George, 633 Burley Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21409.
David Scott George, 633 Burley Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21409.
Okay. So this is your opportunity to present your case to the board. So I will turn the floor over to you and you can begin your presentation.
I'm applying for a liquor license. We serve crabs, barbecue, and beer and everything go with the crabs. So we really in a bunch in a band right now that we really need a beer. All our customers are asking for it. So we want to apply for a liquor license.
Okay. All right, do you have anything else to add, or is that all? You'd like
That's
to-
about it.
Okay. All right. We'll turn it over to the board to ask you some questions.
We owned it for about 26 years, and we were out there on Chicken Pen Ran Road for 20 years, and then we moved it on 1515 Forest Drive a little over 5 years ago.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but whoever is typing, if you wouldn't mind just muting your call here, that would be great. It's just hard to hear. I'm all about taking notes. There's an extra typing.
Thanks, Gavin.
I have a question. Mr. and Miss George, are you applying just for beer and wine, or are you going for a full liquor license?
The full liquor license.
The original intention for the restaurant was to have a full service bar as well,
Okay.
to be able to serve tables as well as a bar situation.
Okay, the reason I asked, I only heard beer mentioned, so. Thank you.
Can you tell us about the staff that will be working there? Are they trained? Are the tips trained to ensure that you're not illegally serving at any time?
Yes, they're tips trained, have been in the business for years.
Yeah, I'm familiar with your location on Chinkopin, and I think you were there for quite a while.
Yeah,
And just selling the food. Is that correct?
yes, the location on Chinkopin was just a carry-out establishment. And then when the lease was ending there, we had to get a bigger place, and we ended up on Forest Drive, and with the intention of having a full-service bar, restaurant. We have been open next month. It'll be 5 years. And we've had a lot of customers would like to have, be able to serve alcohol at the tables with their beer and, with their food. And the intention was to do the special exception to have the bar open in the future.
Have either of you held a liquor license before, either in this county or in this city or any other county?
No.
No,
What's your carding policy going to be?
everyone gets carded.
Okay.
Yeah.
And just to kind of piggyback off of what Vice Chairman Harris asked, how many staff members do you have currently employed at the restaurant?
8. Not
And are
including ourselves.
are all of them going to be serving alcohol?
Probably 6.
Okay.
I have 3 or 4. There's 3 or 4 kitchen staff that won't have anything to do with the alcohol.
Okay. And you're planning on having all of those servers or the individuals who are going to be serving alcohol tips trained?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned a full service bar. You are aware that you can only serve alcohol in conjunction with food unless you get that special exception, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you understood that. And I see from your plans, there are only 48 seats. That's correct?
Correct.
Okay, you haven't changed that or modified it at all?
No.
Okay, and you understand that if you do intend to change the layout after this, if this license is granted, you would have to come back to the board for approval, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you received a copy of the board's rules and regulations?
Yes.
Okay. And have you read through them and understand them?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. George, you understand that you're the person who's applied for this license, and ultimately, if something happens, you're potentially liable and responsible.
Yes.
Okay. And just a couple more things here from me. I see from the checklist we have that we still need a crowd manager certification.
Well, we have that and we turned
Okay,
it in.
Okay. And how about your trader's license? Have you updated your trader's license?
Oh,
It has been sent to the courthouse, so it has not come back yet.
Okay, so just so you know, if the board chooses to grant this license tonight, it would absolutely be contingent on you satisfying all of the clerk's requirements, okay?
Sure.
yes.
Mhm.
All right, I'm sorry to steal all the questions tonight. Any other board members who has anything else to ask, go right ahead.
Mr. and Mrs. George, do you have any outstanding debts with the city of Annapolis, utility bills or anything like that, based upon the fact that you have relocated within the past few years?
No.
I have no further questions.
Yeah, I'll just say this has been it's been a really long time coming for you guys. So, I wish you the best of luck. I know that your patrons have really, really wanted this to happen. So,
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
can do it. We can do it.
Thank you.
And then, sorry, just one more thing. If this license is approved, would you want to pick it up as soon as possible? Are there any, I'm assuming there are no renovations that you need to do based on the floor plan that you submitted.
No
Mm.
renovations.
No.
So you'd want to pick it up as soon as possible.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions before we put it to a vote? All right.
I'm
I'm going to read it into the record first. Dave.
okay, thank you.
Do I hear a motion for this request for a new alcoholic beverage license, Class B2, beer, wine, and liquor only with meals, 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, 7 days per week, with a special Sunday license by David George for the premises known as El Charmin LLC, trading as Pit Boys, located at 1515 Forest Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403, with the contingency that all remaining items must be submitted to the clerk and all outstanding fees must be paid.
I make the motion.
Second.
Okay, motion has been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Best of luck. If you have any questions, reach out to us, okay?
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Okay. All right, that's the only matter that we have for our public hearing, so I will declare the public hearing closed. And we will turn to business and miscellaneous. We have a stock change for Quintanilla Corporation, trading as El Rincon Latino Bar and Grill, 1313 Forest Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. There's been a minority interest change in the company's stock, and it's before the board for approval. So who do we have here tonight for Quintanilla Corporation, trading as El Rincon Latino? Mr. Lyman.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Jimmy. I think I've got several of my clients. I'm not sure if they're on track for unmuting and turning on their videos. It takes a little moment.
All right. I think we have Marisol and Veronica, looks like.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're the two, well, one's a majority, the other's minority stockholder.
If anybody else who's supposed to be here, Mr. Lyman, or just the two of them?
I think they should be sufficient to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Lyman, if you could introduce them, have them put their names and addresses on the record, and then you can begin your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, board members. My name is Brian Lyman, L-Y-M-A-N. And I have before the board tonight presenting the two owners, with the exception of the qualifier of Quintanilla Corporation, This is effective as of May 27th when the deal closed. And Marisol Lamas, who is actually Veronica's sister, they both are the majority owners of the company at this point. Ms. Marisol, would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, my name is Marisol Limas. My address is 1401 Justin Court in Annapolis, Maryland 21403.
Thank you. And we've also got the majority shareholder, Veronica, who's also the president, secretary, and treasurer of the corporation. Veronica, would you state your name and address for the record, please?
It is Veronica Quintanilla, 3219 Vulcan Road, Baltimore, Maryland 21222.
And frankly, I filed out of an abundance of caution to update the board's records. The interest that transferred is actually 499 shares. That's 49.9% of the corporation, transferred from the former minority owner, Gustavo Figueroa. That happened at my offices, and I wrote the stock purchase agreement, did the corporate paperwork. I have updated that with the board and provided the board with a copy of the new stock certificate. I've asked the board staff to indicate if they need any additional documents, and we're happy to answer any questions. There are no changes in operation of the establishment or the licensees. The licensees remain the same. Veronica is a licensee along with our qualifier, Brenda Figueroa.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lyman. Does the board have any questions of Mr. Lyman or either of the two individuals before us tonight?
My question is, what is the qualifier's address?
I'm gonna have to dig in my file for a moment, if you forgive me, Mr. Peterson.
And while Mr. Lyman is digging in his file, Cindy, do we have anything outstanding for this licensee, or are they all up to date? I didn't see anything in our records. Okay.
Mr. Peterson, I've got her address. This is Brenda D. Escobar, is 101 2nd Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. I believe that's the address that should be on file in the application.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Mr. Lyman or his clients? Okay. Well, hearing none, do I hear a motion that we accept this change for company stock for Quintanilla Corporation trading as El Rincon Latino Bar and Grill, located at 1313 Forest Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, it's approved. Thank you, Mr. Lyman.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. We, as I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing, we're going to combine items 6, 8, 10, 15, 17 on tonight's agenda, which are requests for extensions of licensed premises for the First Sunday Arts Festival. We have requests from 49 West Coffee House, Wine Bar and Gallery, located at 49 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Ram's Head Tavern, located at 33 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Stan and Joe's Saloon, located at 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Tsunami, located at 51 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Luna Restaurant Italiano, located at 49 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401, for extensions of licensed premises with consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property with live music for the First Sunday Arts Festivals, which are to be held on September 5th, October 3rd, November 7th, and December 5th, 2021, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., sponsored by the Inner West Street Association. 1, 2, and it looks like we have everybody here for the restaurants. So I'm just going to kind of go in order here and have the representatives introduce themselves, place their name on the record before we start their presentation. So I'll start with the representative from 49 West. Who's here tonight for 49 West?
I am Brian Callahan,
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Can you give us your address for the record, please?
1130 Tyler Avenue.
Thank you. And who's here for Ram's Head?
Mike Lechner, 1107 Trestle Drive.
Thank you. Stan and Joe's.
Joe McGovern, 817 Valley Drive.
Tsunami.
Jody Danick, 2981 Friends Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. I am also representing Inner West Street Association.
All right. Thank you. And Luna Blue.
Hi, I just want to make sure you have my business address
Sure.
accurately. I think you said 40, like 49 or something. We're 36.
36. I apologize. Sorry about that.
No. It doesn't matter. I just want to make sure. And my address is 904 Bank Street, which is 21403.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
He just had 49 West on the brain.
Oh, you're the first one.
You
called.
wish.
So we can, I'll leave this up to you. We can have each of you begin a presentation. I know this is sponsored by the Inner West Street Association. So Mr. Janik, if you want to just present for everybody, I think your applications are similar. That would be sufficient as well.
That's great.
I'm
Thank you.
also going to take you guys outside with me.
Sure.
It's thankfully cooled off a little bit today. Whew, it was hot. So
Janik,
my
we'll
name
let
is,
you go ahead.
do we need to raise our hands or anything?
No, you're okay.
Okay. My name is Jody Danick. So I'd like to thank the board for hearing us today. Inner West Street Association has, as you know, put on the First Sunday Arts Festivals for about the last 23 years, I believe, and the Dining Under the Stars Festivals for the last 6 years. We do put tables and chairs in the street. We do extend our alcohol license and our serving into the street. It's been wildly successful, and we want to keep it going. I believe we have all of the applications and the noise ordinances in for to Cindy, and we'd just like to. I know we're moving from emergency zone to a non-emergency zone, and we just wanted to make sure we were on the board's radar and that we were legal and ready to go for this weekend, I guess, or whenever it changes.
Okay.
I should also say real quick is our executive director is in the hospital for a very happy time because his wife just had their first child. And that's why he's not here. Otherwise, I know he would be here representing.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Any questions from any of the board members?
No, I want to thank Aaron for that tour of Dining Under the Stars real quick. Thanks, Aaron.
Any additional, any questions from Vice Chairman Harris, Ms. Conger, Ms. Baskerville?
No, you guys are doing a great job. Just keep it up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been wonderful.
You guys have done this for several years and you do it well, so we wish you continued luck.
Exactly.
We appreciate the board's support and everybody in the city. So thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, no additional questions. I'll entertain a motion regarding these requests from 49 West Coffee House, Wine Bar and Gallery, located at 49 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Ram's Head Tavern, 33 West Street. Stan and Joe's Saloon, located at 37 West Street. Tsunami, located at 51 West Street. And Luna Blue, located at 36 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. for extensions of licensed premises with consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property with live music for the first Sunday arts festivals, which are to be held on, let me get the dates right, September 5th, October 3rd, November 7th, December 5th, 2021, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I would note that this would be contingent on all fees being paid by each of the establishments seeking the extension.
Motion for approval.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. It passes. Congratulations, and don't go anywhere because you all are up next. We're also going to combine items number 7, 9, 11, 16, and 18 tonight. These are requests for extensions of licensed premises for dinner under the stars. Again, we have requests for 49 West Coffee House located at 49 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Ram's Head Tavern located at 33 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Stan and Joe's Saloon located at 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Tsunami located at 51 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. And Luna Blue located at 36 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. For extensions of licensed premises with consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property with live music for dinner under the stars, scheduled to be held on August 4th, 7th, 11th, 14th, 18th, 21st, 25th, and 28th, September 1st, 4th, 8th, 11th, and 15th, 2021, from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. And this is again sponsored by the Inner West Street Association. We're going to do the same thing for the record. If everybody could go around, state their name and address, and then we'll turn it over to Mr. Danik as the representative for Inner West Street for the presentation. So first, 49 West, Mr. Cal.
Brian Callahan from 49 West. My address is 1130 Tyler Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Thank you. Mr. Lechner?
Mike Lechner, Ram's Head Tavern, 1107 Trestle Drive in Jarrettsville.
Thank you. Mr. McGovern?
Joe McGovern, San and Joe's Saloon, 817 Valley Drive, Crownsville, 21032.
And Mr. Danik?
Jody Danik, Tsunami Restaurant and the West Street Association, 2981 Friends Road, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
And then finally, Ms. Dryden.
Aaron Dryden, 904 Bank Street, Annapolis, 21403. Sorry, doing two things.
No problem. Thank you. And Mr. Danik, we'll turn it over to you for the presentation.
So thank you very much, board. So the Dining on the Stars is a newer event. We've been doing it about 6 years. It's been really successful. We closed the streets down. The restaurants put their tables and chairs out, and we have music in the streets and sometimes art going on, a few different things. This year, we're limiting ourselves to Wednesdays and Sunday nights. Last year, I think you might remember, we did 5 nights a week during COVID, which was very helpful. But this year, due to a number of things, we're going to limit it to Wednesdays and Saturdays. And we just like to be able to do the same thing that we have been doing. No changes. And I believe we have all of our applications and noise ordinances into Cindy.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from any board members on this request? No. All right, well, with no questions, I'll entertain a motion regarding these requests from 49 West Coffee House, located at 49 West Street, Ram's Head Tavern, located at 33 West Street, Stan and Joe's Saloon at 37 West Street, Tsunami, located at 51 West Street, and Luna Blue, located at 36 West Street, for extensions of licensed premises with consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property, live music for Dinner Under the Stars, which is scheduled to be held on August 4th, 7th, 11th, 14th, 18th, 21st, 25th, and 28th, and September 1st, 4th, 8th, 11th, and 15th, 2021, from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., which is sponsored by the Inner West Street Association. And again, this would be contingent on payment of all fees associated with this request being received by the clerk's office from each establishment requesting the extension.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Stands is approved. Congratulations. Good luck, guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all very much.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Next item, we have another extension of licensed premise request by Stan and Joe's Saloon for the Sherwood High Class Reunion Fundraiser. We have a request for an extension of licensed premises to the adjacent parking lot with the consumption of food, alcoholic beverages, and background music scheduled on Sunday, August 8th, 2021 from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the Sherwood High Class Reunion Fundraiser located at 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Mr. McGovern, if you don't mind putting your name and address on the record, and then you can begin your presentation on this request.
Joe McGovern. Well, Jimmy, I have a quick question before I start. The next 3 items are basically the same thing.
I know, we're going to take them in turn though, just because they might be a little different. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure.
Copy that. Joe McGovern, owner, Stan and Joe Saloon, 817 Valley Drive, Crownsville, Maryland, 21032. This first parking lot event is just a fundraiser for the class of 87, I believe they are. One of our regulars. One of their longtime coaches passed away, so they're trying to get the gang together in the post-COVID world and just have a party in the lot. Now, I'm very familiar with my duties about if you're going to have a cocktail, you're going to get a band. If we're going to have tip certified bartenders, which all of our bartenders are tip certified, anything going out in the parking lot will be in plastic. Our egresses are blocked by security, who are also tip certified, so that nothing, I don't even let water or sodas go out onto city property. They may not leave the parking lot. I have a 2-piece band that's going to be playing music from about, probably 3 to 6. I'm very aware of keeping it down. You know, we've done a lot of these, and knock on wood, I hope we're doing a good job with them. And, you know, we do fundraisers. That's what this is. It's a typical Stan and Joe's fundraiser, and we'll use our playbook that has done us very solidly for the past coming up on 15 years. My God.
And this is your just general setup that you always have with the tent in the parking lot, right?
Yeah, actually, there's no tent. It's just a 2-piece band, a bunch of tables. They want to be outside. There's, you know, people are still kind of hinky about getting close together, and we offered them this. Actually, they came to me almost 2 months ago, so I said I could offer the parking lot with the COVID, you know, separation, all that. But now that it's morphing into back to reality, I figured I'd come and talk to you guys just to make sure everything's cool. So,
okay. Any questions from any board members about this request?
Mr. McGovern, have you received approval from the owner of the parking lot to have this affair?
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay, hearing none, do I hear a motion for this request for an extension of licensed premises to the adjacent parking lot with consumption of food, alcoholic beverages, and background music scheduled on Sunday, August 8th, 2021 from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the Sherwood High Class fundraiser, reunion fundraiser located at 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. And this would be contingent on all fees being paid to the clerk's office in conjunction with this request.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, stands approved.
Awesome.
And we'll just keep going with you, Mr. McGovern. The next is an extension for licensed premises for Stan and Joe's, the local and national fire and police units. We have a request for an extension of licensed premise to the adjacent parking lot with the consumption of food, alcoholic beverages, and background music scheduled on September 10th from 4 to 10 p.m., September 11th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and September 12th, 2021 from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. for the support of local and national fire and police units, location 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. And Mr. McGovern, hate to do it to you, but name and address for the record again.
Joe McGovern, 17 Valley Drive, Crownsville, Maryland, 21032. I'm the owner of Stan and Joe's Saloon.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this one?
This is actually, this was approved by you guys last year, right before the shutdown. This is the weekend of the St. Patrick's Day parade. We are a big supporter of local and national fire and police. My dad, rest his soul, was a DC firefighter, but it's just, we let the guys come and use the same thing, same playbook, security, wristbands for those over 21. If you're going to have an alcoholic drink, you don't want a band, you're not going to get a drink. The guys are usually really nice guys, well behaved. Sometimes we put fire trucks in the lot so people can take pictures. Every now and then you'll get a mayor or a governor to stop by for some pictures, but it's just really to let the guys have some room, because we're very small, and we've done this event. And it's not really an event, it's just really getting room. They're all with their bagpipes, and it's a lot of fun. I implore you to come visit if approved. Yeah, and it's just for room. We set tables up for the men and women go off to march in the parade, and the families stay and have sandwiches, and the kids get to run around, and we blow up balloons and stuff like that. But there is alcoholic beverages provided to some of the families or whoever, over 21. But we have the same security force right at the door. You may not take that out onto city property. No glass, plastic, IDs, and wristbands.
Are there any rain days? If it's a rainy weekend, does it go to the next weekend, or is it just this weekend, this particular weekend or not?
I honestly don't know, but if it did rain out, I would be surprised if half the people didn't come back the next weekend. A lot of these guys are traveling from New York and Boston, and this is a once a season kind of trip for these guys.
How many people are you expecting?
2 years ago, we got about 150, but that's, we have 100 in, 30 in the back patio, and probably could fit a 200 out comfortably. I still have social distancing in my head. I can't shake it. I hate it.
Yeah.
But we don't jam them in or anything. We're aware of flow of traffic and all that. I do have one of my security guys is a rover. I'm also personally crowd supervised, managed, whatever that the new one is. I took that course. So I make sure there's moms and kids. So we make it a family event, but I need a drink every now and then with my kids. So
Got it.
So
say no more. Don't incriminate yourself.
Right.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. McGovern? Okay, hearing none. Do I hear a motion for this request for an extension of the licensed premise to the adjacent parking lot with the consumption of food, alcoholic beverages, and background music scheduled on September 10th from 4 to 10 p.m., September 11th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and September 12th, 2021 from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. for support of the local and national fire and police units located at 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Much like the other events, this is going to be contingent on all fees being remitted to the clerk's office prior to approval.
Motion approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, your request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
guys.
doing this.
Good luck, Joe.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. And I want you to know I take this very seriously, as I always have. And I know we have one more to do, but
We do, yeah, and you get to put your name and address on the record again. So the next one is an extension of licensed premise request by Stan and Joe's for the fall kickoff fundraiser for SPCA. We have a request for an extension of licensed premise to the adjacent parking lot with the consumption of food, alcoholic beverages, and background music scheduled on Sunday, September 26, 2021, from 1 to 8 p.m. for the fall kickoff festival benefiting the SPCA, location 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Mr. McGovern.
Joe McGovern, 817 Valley Drive, Crownsville, Maryland, 21032. This is the same event. And before I give the spiel, if you want me to give it again, I want you to know that I don't take the use of the parking lot lightly. I don't. I feel like I'm going to the well a little too much, but I want you to know I'm not. I take it very seriously, the license you've granted me, and I'm not trying to, anyway, this will be a Santa Joe's event in the parking lot, protection of city property. We have permission from the landlord, banded alcohol service by tip certified bartenders, volume controlled on the music. Once again, I think this is a 3-piece band, but very aware of the music levels, and it says going to 8, but it won't go that late. And we're just, I need to raise some money for the SPCA because I've got 3 rescue dogs, and my wife's going to throw me out if I bring any more dogs home. So I got to get them some money. So, but yeah, we'll give it the full attention. I will personally give it the full attention all 3 of these events need.
Appreciate what you said. And what are you expecting for crowd on this one?
I'll be honest, I'm not expecting much. We're going to try to get the SPCA to put a truck out there where the kids can pet the puppies and the kittens. And it's just, we were approached, and I figured I'd get it on the books just to get it on the books, because I think you guys next month are going to get clobbered with everyone realizing the St. Patrick's Day parade is in September. So I figured while I was here, I would just throw them out there. Like I said, I'm very aware that I'm stretching my license, but I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to take advantage of it. And that's, yeah. If we get 100 people, I'll be thrilled.
I think that's very clear, Joe. Thank you for doing what you do. I think, everybody in the city really appreciates it. So.
Well, I'm very blessed. So I try to share that. So.
Any questions for Mr. McGovern on this one? All right, hearing none, do I hear a motion for this request for an extension of licensed premise to the adjacent parking lot with consumption of food, alcoholic beverages, and background music scheduled on Sunday, September 26, 2021, from 1 to 8 p.m. for the Fall Kickoff Festival benefiting the SPCA, located at 37 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Again, with the contingency that all outstanding fees must be paid to the clerk's office prior to pickup.
So
Move
moved.
for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, the motion has been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, it stands approved. Thank you, Mr. McGovern, for your time tonight, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you all for your time. Be
See you,
safe.
Joe.
Take care, guys.
You too.
All right. that concludes all of our regularly scheduled business. I think we might, Cindy, do we have anybody here from the police department? Did anybody come on?
No, we do not.
No. Okay. Thanks, Julian. All right. We do have a couple remaining items that we were going to discuss in an executive session, but I think that we can just discuss them, you know, in an open meeting here. Mr. Lyles, do you want to talk about the agreements, the grant agreements that was just that were just recently forwarded to us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The board had some questions regarding Annapolis Police Department using people under 21 to do what I would reference as a sting or investigation into alcohol sales of underage individuals. And as part of that, one of the responses we got from the police department was that they have a grant that pays these young people. They had cadets and they're no longer using cadets because the cadets have graduated. And so they use young people, and it is not something that is unusual, and they're paid in accordance with the grant. So there's a compliance grant. We've sent you the documentation that shows the grant and the stipend that's provided. We talked to the police, but I don't want to speak for them. Hopefully one evening they'll come and speak for themselves about what they do, the training and so forth in an executive session. Until then, if you have specific questions about the investigatory process and what they do with young people who they recruit for these stings, if you will, these compliance checks, as we call them, you can send email questions to Cindy. She'll make sure that all the questions and answers get responded to and back to everybody on the board. So you'll see a question and you'll see an answer from APD, and hopefully, because we have a hard time getting in here in person, those questions will be answered to your satisfaction.
Okay, thank you for that.
The grant documents have been emailed to you, and you can read them at your leisure. And if you have any questions on those, you can ask. You can send those to Cindy as well, and either my office or APD will answer any questions you have about the grant agreement.
Mr. Lyles, what was the specific part of that grant that you pointed out? I think it was 1C, you said, that they should pay attention to?
Right, the stipend for the individual recruits for the compliance checks are in paragraph 1C. It provides for the stipend for young people. So they are trained, they are paid. It is a process. It's serious, but you know, the police can describe in more detail how they recruit young people and what they do with them. And they're always, you know, protected, so forth.
Okay. All right, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions regarding, I don't know if anybody's reviewed the documents yet, but like Mr. Lyles said, if there are any questions that come up, feel free to email Cindy. Hopefully have an officer to discuss matters with us in the future. All right. The only other thing we have is a discussion on House Bill 12, Senate Bill 205, and the process for handling requests. Mr. Lyles or Cindy, do either of you want to start off on this?
Well, let me start. Cindy may be able to add some context to this. Basically, what happened in the last week or two, the mayor and the city council are going to pass legislation on Monday that extends the emergency order that the council established last year. But this emergency order is only going to extend the restaurant and retail service to the outside in order to continue to help ameliorate the effects of the pandemic on this particular industry, if you will, restaurants, bars, and retail establishments. Most of them are the ones that use our parklets and use the streets and those kinds of things, and they're still recovering. And so the council is going to pass that legislation, and that legislation will extend the emergency order until November 1. What that means is that you don't have to, consider anything at this point regarding the state's allowance for offsite consumption with respect to a process. You don't have to do anything now, but you do have time. So I would think that you'd have until November 1 to work out a process. And, once November 1 hits, our emergency order goes away. The businesses will not be able to use the outside or exterior of their business without coming back to you. But off-premises consumption is allowed by state law, but the process for getting that approval will have to be worked out. And so you don't have to do it tonight. You can talk about it. You can hear from Cindy about how to do it. And if you have any ideas, you've got a couple of months to figure it out.
All right, thank you. Cindy, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think Mr. Lyles pretty much covered it. I would just encourage you. I think the only person I heard to in regards to that question was from Jimmy. So if you other guys can think about what you might want to see in the process and submit that to me via email, that would be helpful and at least allow me to organize my thoughts into what you may be looking to see happen in the process, even though we have until November.
And Cindy, what was, I don't know, there was a discussion about email votes.
Well, I think that was Jimmy's idea, correct?
I know that other jurisdictions have that are enrolling in this program, because I think every jurisdiction has the opportunity to say either we're not doing it or we are going to do it based on how Senate Bill 205 was drafted. And the jurisdictions that are opting into the program are coming up with a boilerplate application and then sending it for administrative approval, and essentially an email vote to prevent bringing people in for a public hearing. I know that's what, and then some jurisdictions are adopting rules and regulations about that into their rules and regs. But since there's a sunset provision with this legislation, the majority of jurisdictions are just adopting temporary rules and regs, which don't require publication or a vote, putting them on the website, having a form that each establishment fills out, circulating the form to the board members, and then doing an administrative approval without the necessity of a hearing.
Yeah, let me suggest this process this way, because I think in order to do a vote, you've got to change your own internal rules, right? Mm-hmm. You can do an email vote, but there may be an easier way. The easier way would be to do a negative approval, right? That means everybody that submits an application as you come up with it, and that the information is reviewed by Cindy, maybe myself, but unless there's a problem, there's no need to have a hearing, right? So you get a chance to review the application as a board. If there is an issue, we will put those folks on the agenda for a hearing. If you see something out of kilter, out of whack, but you'll get it. Unless there's a problem, it's go, right? So you can decide that way. It's a negative application. So everything is approved until you find that there's a problem, and at which point you'll call that particular establishment to you for a meeting, and we can discuss, hey, I remember this person came, they had some problems last year. I want to hear from them, right? It could be one of those. But if the paperwork looks good, it'll get to you, it'll get to Cindy. We'll say, yeah, everything looks good on our end. You'll get a chance to look at it. Unless there's a problem, it's a go.
Sure. And then I think, go ahead, Cindy, sorry.
That's okay. So I just wanted to say that there's been a fair amount of interest in this so far. We have 17 businesses that have already submitted a letter, and the way they're addressing it, it's not individual letters. It's like, it appears to be like groups of establishments getting together that are, alike or located near one another. And they are writing one letter about the request, and everybody is signing on to it. So that's kind of how it's looking. So to that point, I don't know if we're going to have specific information on each establishment to provide to the board, but I'm happy to provide the letters that they are sending in.
Yeah, the only thing that I would be concerned about is the legislation's pretty specific in who can actually make these deliveries. You know, it's got to be an employee of the establishment. They have to be over the age of 21. The driver delivering has to be tip certified. So we may want to consider having the applicants submit that information as well, just so that we have it on file. These are just ideas, that I'm putting out. I'm not, and again,
tell me that again. Tip certified.
yes, it's so I think the driver needs to be an actual employee of the establishment. So you can't have Grubhub, or DoorDash or what have you. There's the driver needs to be 21. So you can't have an 18-year-old driving these. They're required to card the individual who's receiving the beverage. Not be a delivery to another establishment that has an alcoholic beverage, which kind of makes sense. And then what was the last one? They have to be tip certified. The driver has to be tip certified. So there are just some specific requirements there. And I don't know if that's something we want to require everybody to submit, or if we want to take people on their word. And these are just things that I know that other jurisdictions have been contemplating what they need from each applicant to authorize this, continued off-sale service.
Jimmy?
Yep.
Just to be honest with you, I did receive a phone call from our state senator hoping that we would follow through on this and abide by their idea. She wanted to know who else she should call on the board. And I really wanted to save you all. So I just said I would bring it up at tonight's meeting. So you've been brought up.
Well, thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, those are just, those are just ideas that I've heard from other folks that are considering. So fortunately, it sounds like it might be a lot of paperwork if we want to require all of it, but.
Well, in my view, you're already receiving information from individual businesses. I think if we can streamline the information, unify it, make it uniform, we don't have a problem getting another thing from these businesses. We already get stuff from them. And it is a defined group, right? It's about 118, right, Cindy? We know who they are, and they're going to submit these things, but not everybody is. So I think in order to keep it clear, every business should submit an individual package. And whatever you want them to submit, fine with us, but it should be the same information. We think it should be something that they can easily prepare, whatever you want to know or whatever you want to require. And, we've got 3 or 4 months to see it work, right? Before November 1.
You could just compose a letter with a checklist. And if you meet all these requirements that we are asking of them, then they're good. If there's a question, you pull them in and find out, get some answers.
Right. We can ask them to sign a certification under penalty of perjury that they are abiding by these rules or regulations that you set up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I like that.
And we'll include this in the compliance checks as well. So we can have the police, when they're doing the other check, they can check on these as well. So there is like a double check and balance in this. And then lastly, you still have the ability, if something goes wrong or you hear something or we have something brought to your attention, you can still bring the person or the business in to inquire about what's going on.
Good. All right. So I guess give that some thought and circulate some ideas to Cindy, and we can probably put something together for review and comment, and then next month or two. But we've got some time, which is really nice.
Right, and you remember, you also, off consumption means individuals can buy on site and take it in a closed container somewhere else.
Right.
In addition to having delivery.
Yeah.
A question on that. Mr. City Attorney. Does food have to be involved in that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
under the state law, they have to be ordering food with the alcohol, yes.
Take the alcohol. I just wanted to clarify that. That's what I thought I'd read, so.
Right,
Thank
because otherwise they're a liquor store.
Mm-hmm.
And those businesses already exist, right?
Yeah, right. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah.
Right, right. So, yeah, they have to be buying food with the alcohol, and it has to be in a closed container, and they have to drink it somewhere else,
Right.
not on the street.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Well, that is it, unless there's any other business to come before the board tonight.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Claire.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Claire.